It is very important that no matter where you are in life, that you make good use of your time. Being a steward over the time that's been allotted to you, to make sure you're organized, that you focus, that you are able to identify distractions that you have, is very important to be successful in life. Anytime you're starting off something new, you want to make sure that skills that you've learned along the way, that you just don't do away with them. I think about now, since I've been off of work since July 18th, when I say off of work, the Lord told me to walk away from my jobs. When he told me to walk away, I didn't have like a full plan, that I knew everything that I would be doing while I was off. I knew to work with what I had and continue to seek the Lord, and I would build from there. I'm not saying this for people that every time that the Lord tells you to speak, you just walk away. Mine was done like that because I had specific instructions for him. But I understand the importance of planning and building. But one of the things I want to talk about is, for years, my background is in automotive. I've had several different positions in working in a factory, material planner, system manager, production control, assistant manager, just different positions that I've had. And I understand that crucial time of being in a factory, putting in a lot of long hours, going through a lot of uncertainties, a lot of pain, a lot of scrutinizing of my work, being mistreated as a female and a black woman. I've went through a lot of different things, as far as I filed 2 complaints with the EEOC. I've had to go to the top in management, and I didn't understand at the time the importance of the making of a leader, and God allowing me to go through things to pull out what I didn't know was in me, and to put me on the right path of how to interact in different environments, to lead while not bleeding, and not, especially for females, operating off of my emotions. It is very important that you take time for yourself, that you are able to reflect and identify where emotions and different things are coming from, so that you continue to lead successfully, especially if you're over a team. You may just be leading. I could be saying leading just from at home, but it's very important that you take time to yourself to get an understanding of why you feel like you feel and why you do what you do, especially if it's causing a difference in your performance, in relationships, on the job, wherever. If there's a complaint, or even if not, anything about a good business, you always do inventory, and you want to make sure you keep in stock the products that you sell the most, and the products that you don't sell, you either replace them or you decrease the inventory. And so that's the same thing that we need to do as people when we're taking time for ourselves, especially if you want to grow to be a better you. I remember working and going through a lot of different things. I remember fasting and praying because I wanted out of this place. But I thank God, out of everything that I went through, every lesson that I learned, and I'm happy that God didn't move me just because I wanted to move, because I didn't like what was going on. I didn't like how I felt, and I didn't like how people were treating me. But I understand now that sometimes, and I'm not saying all, but a lot of times, for me, people were treating me the same way I felt about myself and didn't know it. I couldn't understand as a leader that I was promoted and put in a position of power, but with no authority. And I remember going back to God over and over. How can I be in a position of power with no authority? Because there is a difference. And I realized, as I kept seeking God, that the motives of why I wanted to use the authority that I had wasn't right. It didn't mean that what the people were doing was wrong when I wanted to write people up. It was because the motive of my heart was not right. And I kept seeking God and saying, how can I have this position? God, I know I'm only in this position because you put me here, but why would you put me in a position And then why are these people mistreating me? Why am I not able to write people up? How are you at an assistant manager level and you can't write people up? Something's wrong. And it wasn't so much about the position as it was with me and my heart posture. And so I just want to give you words of encouragement, just a few words of wisdom that no matter where you are, to maximize the moment. If you're in a place and you hate it there, you need to see God in it. If it's a relationship that God hasn't allowed you to walk away from, you need to see God in it. If it is a child and there is disagreements, you need to see God in it. If it's in your finances, you need to see God in it. If it is in your health, you need to see God in it. Whatever you're going through, if it's a place that you just want to improve, or if it's a place that you've never focused on, but you know that God has been tapping you on the shoulder, seek Him, get an understanding, seek God on what it is that He's showing you in that thing, and see God in it. Use that place that where you're at as a training ground. Grow, learn, reorganize, restructure if it means rest. For me, one of the main things I thought when God was having me walk away from my jobs, I was about to jump right into something else. And I realized there were areas in my life where I was unorganized. I needed to rest. I needed to just survey what was going on in my life, get new perspectives, do away with things, and seek God and connect and reconnect with people. And it's a lot of things that has happened in my life since I walked away from my jobs, and it was nothing of what I expected. But again, I really didn't know what to expect, but what I'm doing is not what I expected. But I know that God has my best interest at heart, and I know that what I'm going through, and I know that what I'm experiencing, and the new things I'm learning, and the things that I'm having to unlearn, and I'm drawing closer to ones that God needs me to draw closer to, and separating from those that I need to separate from. It's all part of God's plan. I don't know where you are and whatever it is that you're going through, but don't be alarmed if God separates you from people, separates you from things. If you feel alone or isolated, remember that God is with you. But make sure you are seeking God and you're seeing Him in everything. No, He may not be having these full, long, drawn-out conversations when they be like, did you hear from God? That may not be the case of what you're going through, but remember that God is with you. And no matter how God chooses to speak to you, make sure that when you are getting instructions, I'm very, very big on this, that you are following the instructions. Make sure if you don't understand, ask questions. You may be in a place where God wants you to come up out of your comfort zone. He doesn't want us to be comfortable, but be content in whatever circumstance we are going through. Trust God. Grab hold of the new thing that is going on in your life. It may be hard. You may not fully understand what's going on, but it's going to work out for your good. It is best for you. Now, if you've stepped out on some stuff and you ain't sought the Lord in it, and things is going crazy, you may need to go back to your place of provision. You may need to go back to where God last spoke to you. If things ain't going how you thought and you've been seeking God and you ain't hearing Him, He ain't giving you no signs, and you just feel like you out here and you drowning, you need to make sure that you heard from God correctly. And if you did and stuff ain't still going right, keep doing and fully do what He told you to do. If He ain't gave you no new set of instructions, finish the last ones. I don't care if it's one little crossing the T. Make sure that you see God in everything that you are doing.